just upgraded the exhaust tips on the SL65 from these terrible old ones that it came with to some new ones that I got for my absolutely favorite price, free. This is what the exhaust tips look like on a real SL65 AMG. You can see how nicely they fit into that carbon fiber rear valance. Now if you have $600 to spend on some wide-body conversion kit exhaust tips, you can go and buy these ones. But I'm more of a baller on a budget, and I didn't want to spend $600 on exhaust tips. These are the exhaust tips that I got for free, and you guys are never going to guess what car I saw them on and was just like, hey, wait a second, those look like they would fit, oh my gosh, let me measure that, and oh man, they're perfect, and they're off of, wait for it, a 2008 Saturn Outlook. That's right, boys. The family SUV that your aunt drove to Costco just donated its tailpipes to my SL55. I couldn't just install them dirty the way that they were, so I decided to take them over to the solvent tank first and try and scrub off some of that carbon, which after soaking for, gosh, a day or two, and yeah, hitting it with the wire brush did nothing. So, into the hot tank they went. And I think I ran them in the hot tank for 10, maybe 15 minutes, and it's just hot soapy water. And you could pretty much guess if solvent tank and a wire brush didn't do anything, yeah, it's didn't do anything. So this was more or less to just get all the solvent off of them and prepare them to go into the sandblasting cabinet. Now the sandblasting cabinet is sort of a magical device because when you run them through there, they just come out looking brand new on the other side. So I didn't even paint them after that. I'm pretty sure they're stainless steel. So after I got the tips all cleaned up, I went and I found out, oh, I've got a diameter issue here. The diameter of the exhaust tip opening there was, I don't know, a 1/4 inch bigger than that pipe that's been welded onto the muffler by the previous owners. And so I found some exhaust pipe that is a bigger diameter. And hey, you know, we want a free-flowing exhaust system here, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get the bigger diameter stuff. I'm going to cut off all that smaller diameter pipe that's been welded onto the muffler. And safety first, everybody. Cutting this little section of pipe off took what felt like forever. It was, I don't know, 2 hours, and couldn't get up in there with the cutoff wheel. So I figured, well, we'll try the Sawzall, and the welds that they put on the pipe from whoever messed with this last were ridiculously thick. They had just used the MIG welder to fill in a huge gap between the diameter of the old pipe, or I should say the diameter of the muffler, and then the new pipe, which was smaller. So you can just see they globbed on a ton of just MIG welder, and there's a crack in the hanger, which I repaired later on. And anyhow, it was just much easier to remove the muffler to work on it on the bench. So here's a little more footage of me cutting the old welds off, and yeah, this just took forever, which forever in my book is like 2 hours longer than I thought it was going to take. And the whole project of swapping these exhaust tips took like 2 days of my free time, which in the summer months that's, I don't know, 6 hours a day or something. So, but hey, look, I eventually got it off. You can see how thick the welds are there. And I did end up having to get not another cutoff wheel, but a grinding, like a tungsten carbide bit in there. But I couldn't believe how ugly that looked. Here's another exhaust hanger. I think that's the one from the passenger side. And they'd already tried to weld that up a little better, and they did a shit job on this last time. And that cut there, that's not even from me. That's they just left that there from when they put on the tips that I was removing. So uh, they just did not care. They were doing a hack rush job. And I didn't even know. They'd hidden it fairly well, I guess, up behind the bumper, but that stuff drives me crazy. So as you can see here, I decided to take the time to fix it, which ended up being, again, a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. All that cutting and grinding sure left a bunch of debris down inside of the muffler there, so I was tapping it out. This is the opening on the muffler where the tip is going to get welded on, or I should say the pipe that goes out to the tip. So I'm going to do a test fit, or really getting the muffler put back up in there so that I can position and tack weld the pipe for the new tip and tack weld the tip onto that new section of pipe. So here I am doing a test fit, and I had to get the new section of pipe the exact right length so that it would hang out just a little bit. I didn't want it to be perfectly flush with the bumper. I wanted it to be out, I don't know, a half an inch or so. And so, man, I spent an hour getting that all figured out. And after I tacked it, I took it back off over to the bench, did some welding with the TIG welder. Then I got this expander. I needed to expand that end of the pipe so that it would fit up against the muffler at the exact right width that I wanted. So now I'm getting ready to tack weld the exhaust pipe to the muffler. So here the tack welds are going on after getting the tips positioned just right. And you got to put a couple tacks on each side because you don't want that thing moving around. The final welds ended up getting done over on the bench though with the TIG welder. It's just a lot easier to do a clean job of the final welding with the TIG. So here they are, still sort of tacked welded in place, but I'm checking the fit and the amount that they hang out. So just sort of doing a Dave index finger measurement there. I wanted to have the same amount hanging out on both sides. So just checking that all out before doing final welding. I love TIG welding. It's so much easier to control the amount of metal and the amount of heat, and you can just do a super clean job with the TIG welder. So it looks pretty good. I don't lay down dimes, or my TIG welds don't look like a stack of dimes that fell over, but they sure look a lot better than most MIG weld jobs. So got the muffler and the tip back up in there, and I probably spent an hour fiddling with the final positioning. There's a bolt and a nut that tie the two mufflers together at their pipes where they fit up next to the differential, and so you can see them. They each move a little bit, and I had to fast forward this footage because it would have been probably an hour. So here's the final exhaust system all put back together, all the way out to the new tips. You can see that new section of pipe there, and ooh, yes, those are some good looking exhaust tips there now, and there's no restriction at that point where they come out of the muffler. Let's take a look at it outside though. Yeah, that looks good. I've spent quite a bit of time patting myself on the back every time I come up to the car from the backside. It's just like, gosh, those exhaust tips look so good. I can't believe I got those things for free. Well, free plus 2 days of labor to get them installed. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.